Hey ladies, this is Mocha Mommy here bringing you another video. And in this video, I have two guests with me. I have Computer and Coin and True Mystique. We're going to be talking about productivity. We're going to be talking about business, and we'll just be talking about ways that we can really level up mentally and financially to make sure that we're on point. So ladies, do you want to introduce yourselves?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I go by Computer and Coin. I am a registered nurse. I can get a little bit into my background later once we get into the question. So happy to be here. Thank you so much, Mocha Mommy, for inviting me to come on and join your show. I'm very honored to be here. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I go by the name True Mystique, the Golden Enigma, and I am a content creator on YouTube and on various social media platforms. And I also call myself a creative multi-potentialite and budding entrepreneur and business owner. And thank you so much, Mocha Mommy, for having us here today.
Okay, thank you so much. So I know both of you ladies are really good content creators. So Computer and Coin, tell us what inspired you to make content. And just basically, how is it going being a new content creator here on YouTube?
Yeah, I love learning. I'm a lifelong learner, and I love technology. I love money, talking about money, learning how to get better at that to benefit myself and my family. I like taking in information to learn how to be financially free and seeing other women living a good life, a happy life, prosperous lives, and like them talking about it inspires me. Like seeing other women win in different ways, whether they are a truck driver, a farmer, etc. That inspires me. So that's what interested me. And then I get inspiration as well from the older women in my life, the ones single, married, divorced, widowed, living good lives, and them talking to me as their younger relative about things that I can do for myself to live good lives and be happy and things like that. Yes.
And True Mystique?
Okay, so I was inspired to do content creation because I've always been a person that was pretty introspective. Like I spend a lot of time with myself, and mostly my content is based off of, it's kind of like a video log of advice that I wish somebody would have given me and tools that I wish people would have given me when I was younger and I was going through my various issues, trying to work through trauma, trying to work through things with like mental wellness and things of the sort. So I find myself to have like good ideas, and people have told me that I give good advice and I'm a sound person. And basically that was just what my content was just started to chronicle. When I was in college, I started my YouTube channel and I started like posting things on Instagram about words of advice and like uplifting content. And it was just centered also around the fact that I was going through a you could kind of call it a spiritual awakening. So like I had a difference in mindset, and I just felt like with the things that I was learning and how I could apply it to benefit my life, I just wanted to share it with people. Like I said, because I wish that I would have gotten this advice, but now I just want to be a person that's of help to others.
Well, that's awesome. And I was just telling True Mystique in the back chat about how one of her videos helped my daughter with a research project on AI, because you do cover some of the ethical issues and some of the job issues that are going to be around AI. And I know that you do too, as well, Computer and Coin, like how it can impact the economy. But, you know, both of you ladies you've been students, you were workers, you have families. So how do you stay motivated and productive? Because content creation can be time consuming.
Sure. I take breaks when needed. I listen to my body. I try to have a good understanding of what my deliverables are, what my things that I have to deliver on for my family, for work, for my friends, and just be mindful of that and keeping track of that. that's how I stay motivated. That's how I try to make sure that I'm having balance in my life, whether that's total time away from being online and consuming anything online, whether it's YouTube or TikTok or anywhere else, because that's just a very small sliver of my life, and keeping in mind my own needs, my family needs, the needs of my friends, and also just the people at work as well.
And your TikTok is very fun. I don't do TikTok a lot, but I really like your TikTok. You always have
Thank
something
you.
fun to do. Yeah, and I love that you went to the hockey game, even though I got to admit, I'm not a huge fan of your team, but I'm glad you went. And I'm glad that you said the same thing I said about Coach Rod, because I feel like people think that French Canadian ladies, listen, I'm going to say something. If you watch the Carolina Hurricanes NHL team, like, I feel the most lit person on the team is the coach.
Yeah. Absolutely. But you inspired. See, that's how I talk about inspiration, because you inspired me, Mocha Mama, to go to that hockey game. You did a show, I think it was mid-December, early December, maybe, I don't know, around Thanksgiving, about women stepping out of their comfort zones and going to professional sporting events. And I just never thought about going to a hockey game. And I was like, I listened to that show you did. Because I know you were talking about MLB and how you started talking about MLB. MLB reached out to you. So I went to that hockey game just totally, okay, I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. The last 3 years as a nurse have been really challenging. I'm just going to go to this hockey game. I had so much fun. One of my family members was like, well, you should do a TikTok about it. I was like, okay. And I just didn't expect it to that content that I've been doing around hockey to take off, so much so that the NHL reached out to me last week.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes. The NHL. So for those who are on TikTok have been following that journey, that totally unexpected. Never saw myself as talking about it, but because I'm new, I don't know. It's very much going on into it as a new fan and what I'm learning, and now being invited to games and doing things and going. I just never anticipated that, but that all started when you talked back your first question, Mocha Mommy, about inspiration. Had I not been checking out your channel and just those things and for anyone in the chat who have not listened to that show, go back and listen to that show that Mocha Mommy did. It was either end of November, early December, about something about comfort zone for women, specifically Black women, and being open and trying new experiences. It just really shifted my mindset in a different way.
I'm so glad. And it's like, man, I gotta say, like, being from New York and going to hockey games in Texas, like, Southern hockey fans, y'all way more lit. Like, I feel like Northern hockey fans, we're intense. Like, we have a brooding intensity. But Southern hockey fans, y'all be having DJs, light up Zambonis.
Let me tell you, they turn up. That's what surprised me. They turn up at those hockey games. That first hockey game I went to, they had the mascot doing the wobble. I was like, the wobble? If people in the crowd were doing the wobble, I was like, now, am I at a hockey game or am I at one of my cousin's house? Like, it really, because when you look in the crowd and the demographic, it's not what I'm used to, what I would like, what you would be used to, like, say, at an NBA game, right? Or I don't know, like a Black Bike Week. The crowd and the culture is totally different. So when I went to that very first game and I saw and I experienced it, and the music, and of course the sport itself,
Right.
it's very fast paced. Those hockey players are very athletic, and it takes a very high level of skill. It was just a lot, and I didn't know all of that was going on within the sport of hockey. It's a lot. It's fun, and I didn't anticipate it being fun. But again, it goes back to what you were talking about, inspiration in that video, and women and Black women and different types of women opening their mind to different experiences and going out and trying things.
Yeah, those TikToks make me so happy. So definitely follow Computer and Coin on TikTok, ladies. But I mean, True Mystique, I have a question for you. Like, I know that social media can be so distracting. Mm-hmm. How do you stay productive managing those distractions making sure that your content is still relevant
Mm-hmm.
and on point, but still you don't get stuck down those social media rabbit holes that could be a huge time waster.
Okay. Well, because I kind of have ADHD, I have to do more extreme things in order to divert my focus to being productive so that I don't fall down those rabbit holes. Yeah, I might peek into some of these, like some channels, like every now and again. But personally, what I do is I have several email addresses and like brand accounts. So for each like account that I have, let's say for one account I look at art things that are specifically for like art in 3D, another one for prayer and like things like ASMR, another email I use that account for like looking at for business and economics. So I think that if you create several email accounts and then you link your YouTube channels for your various interests, that way it will be kind of easier to filter out the nonsense and just to focus. And for me, if that doesn't work, I had to literally go out and buy a phone jail. Like where it's like you put the phone in the case and you could lock it for how many ever hours or how many ever minutes you want, and it will not open. Like it will not. You can't even break it open before before the time comes out. But it's so easy to get caught up in a lot of this negativity, especially in the spaces that a lot of us are used to, and it will suck everything, like it will drag you into this deep rabbit hole if you just let it. And I know like the negativity, it's so addictive, but you kind of just have to prime your mind to just say, is this the kind of content that can really edify me? What am I doing listening to this content? Is it going to help me? And if it's not, I should probably like literally like wean myself off of it. And if in doubt, just take a couple of days or a couple of weeks or a couple of months or however long you need to like stay away from a lot of these like drama channels and just put it into more interest that can either help you build your skill set or just other things that don't cloud your head with so much negativity. That's what I try to do.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I do have to take long YouTube breaks, and it does stifle your growth a bit, but it like what it does for your mental health is priceless. Um, but tell me, what has it been like being a content creator, and what does your algorithm look like? And when you look at your YouTube studio, what are your viewers watching? So, what has it been like being a content creator?
Mhm. Uh, in the beginning of being a content creator, it was very slow because I don't like to cover like a lot of like drama stuff. So it's like I was barely gaining traction. So in the beginning, I was getting incredibly discouraged. Then I tried to shift my content into doing more like current events, and it started to gain more traction. I think the most viewed video I had was like 13,000 followers, 13,000 views, and it was about, I think, the Travis Scott and the Astro World thing. And but the thing is, I couldn't keep up with it because of the current events. You had to be on it like 24/7. Like as soon as it dropped, you had to be recording and then you had to post videos. I just can't operate like that. Like I don't know, my brain doesn't work like that. It doesn't allow me to like just hop on a topic and just go. And but honestly, what really helped me and what really now encourages me to be a content creator is you have to find your tribe. You have to find people that have similar values and similar goals to you. And I think that YouTube is like the perfect platform for you to be able to do this, because you can go into other people's channels who might have a larger following than you. And then you can interact with people like in the chat boxes, and then y'all can be familiar with each other. And you can even bring that off onto a Discord, which is what I'm currently in now. I found a community of women, from a channel, and we built this like great and safe community in the Discord. And then it's honestly because of these women that have kept me like going and kept me pushing, trying to create content, even if I don't feel like it. But I know that because I shifted in the way that I shifted, that I've just decided to make like evergreen content. And I decided to make content based on like mental health and personal development, which is a niche that basically anybody at any time can hop on. I think doing all of that and knowing that that's where my purpose lies, and knowing that there are people that do support you, that definitely makes the content creation process so much easier.
Yeah, I agree. Finding your niche is everything. Because I know, like when Computer McCoy said that the NHL reached out to her, I was reached out to by MLB Network and some of the bigger bloggers. And I realized too, like to do that type of content, that is a huge time commitment because all the games you have to watch, and you kind of have to have your clips ready, your things ready before the game is even over so that you can post by that time. And it was to the point I wasn't enjoying the games. So I could definitely relate to that. And when it comes to trying to switch niches. But now it's like, and then too, like I just had to find like you said, evergreen content in a community. So I have another YouTube channel, but that's like hobbyist YouTube.
Yeah.
And hobbyist YouTube, you're gonna get a ton of views, but you're not gonna get a lot of subscribers because they're just watching it because they want to know how to do skill X or skill Y,
Yeah.
or a review of a product. And they're not gonna really interact with the platform. But it's just like saying, like, you gotta find that niche, that community that supports you. And it's been interesting because on my other channel, it's a gardening channel, and you will be surprised how many like doomsday preppers, how many like crunchy granola hippies because they want everything organic. And it's like it's two completely different sides of the same exact coin. Like, you know, these hippie granola people and the doomsday prepper, they're the same thing. They all want to know how to grow their own vegetables, how to get off the grid. But yeah, it's just like finding that niche is important, and making evergreen content is important. So Computer and Coin, I have a question for you. What are your hopes for your content in 2023? What direction would you like to take your YouTube channel or your other social media platforms?
Yeah, I do want to continue to do technology and money content. I notice the videos that I do where I talk about money, where there's articles or things that are happening or just my thoughts don't do well, but I enjoy doing it. So I do want to continue that. Definitely following along with what's happening in healthcare technology, because it is rapidly changing. And I'm not talking like changing year by year. Like it is the pace of change and expansion and just different types of technologies that are being implemented right now in healthcare or about to be implemented is happening so fast that I don't think everyone realizes how, like, even if you're not a nurse, if you're working in any other type of area of healthcare, whether you're like on the financial side, the legal side, except things are happening so fast that I don't think everyone realizes that. And the way that we work in healthcare and utilize the technology today will not be the same next year, 5 years, 10 years from now. So I definitely intend to follow that because I see a lot happening, both at the companies that I work with and with business associates that work for other companies or startups or payers and things like that. So I definitely want to continue with that and follow along with that. The hockey thing on TikTok, I'll keep with that, but I don't want it because it's starting to, like you said, how the MLB can be got to the point where it's over consuming. I want to continue with that, but not to the point where I stop doing what I started with, talking about technology, specifically healthcare technology and money. Continuing to grow that, continuing to find ways to generate additional streams of revenue. I have a very big intention why I'm doing what I'm doing to help myself and my family, but also help others. So I want to continue on with that. And that's where I'm looking to continuing to grow with my channel. It is interesting, True Mystique, that you said that the part about like following trending topics, like you can do it, it can be done, but it can be time consuming because you have to do things in a timely manner. So look into, like, may add additional things that I talk about, but also making sure I'm sticking with the core of why I started, because that's what really drives me and makes me feel passionate talking about healthcare technology and money.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that you do discuss the issues that you do, because I mean, I know like we're starting to see like changes in the technology for medical transcription. Even like just now, one of the facilities I worked at, they had like a robotic pharmacy that was really because we've all had like the Pyxis systems, cells where you put in a time, but now it's like the safeguards that have happened because of wrong medication errors, but then at the same time too, it does a lot more than I ever expected. So yeah, I mean, and the fail safes in it are good, but at the same time, you better know how to use it, because you could really lock yourself out or end up in legal trouble.
That's right.
So, yeah, and I'm so grateful that you kind of go over those subjects, because seriously, you can be at one hospital and people are still charting on paper. Then you go to another hospital and you find out, your mess is in the FBI somewhere because you didn't know how to use technology.
Exactly.
So your channel really is a really good, important one. And QB, there's definitely a need for people to go into healthcare informatics. And if that's your goal, make sure you subscribe to Computer and Coin, and then get that academic support you need, because the need is definitely there.
It is.
I don't know anybody who's not hiring somebody for HIM. I don't know a single hospital system that's not hiring HIM right now.
Yes, it's definitely a very hot demand, just like nurses are in hot demand. Nurses in different specialties are in hot demand as well.
So I have another question for you, True Mystique. Like, what are some of your personal goals outside of YouTube, outside of growing your platform? What are some of the things that you're working on?
Okay, so some of the things that I'm working on is I am planning on restructuring my business. Like, I had a business that I intended originally for crafting, but that's not really the kind of way that I'm trying to move moving forward. I kind of want to pack light, and I'm trying to just more so go towards like the mobile, like doing things like online. I definitely want to use AI and integrate AI into my new businesses going forward. I'm also doing projects. I did just write an ebook in January about engaging and for the average person to be able to participate in the creator economy, which is booming. I'm also working on writing like other ebooks like for personally, and I'm just want to be in a part of I'm at a time period in my life right now. I'm about to be 28 in a couple of weeks. So I just want to do things completely differently. Like, I want to travel. I want to be able to like work more so remote so that I could be able to travel more. I want to be able to network more. I do want to just have like more experiences in life, because I felt like a lot of things have held me back in the past. Like, I do want to go to some NHL games, and I do want to look into Formula One. I actually do want to go to the car show. And it's in April in New York. I want to go to that, and just basically it. Just trying to make additional income so that I can do the things that I want to do financially and be financially free, pay down debts, and just pretty much just experience all that life has to offer.
I'm really glad you said that. I'm glad you have professional goals and personal goals, because I think sometimes we overlook, like, hey, going on vacation, experiencing new things, that takes planning as well. So especially if you're running your own business or attempting, because that could be all encompassing.
Oh yes,
because there's never going to be enough time in the day if you're working and trying to run you're never going to get it all done. And the fact that you could, I guess, take the time to prioritize yourself, I think that's a really good one. I'm really glad you said that.
Yeah, it's like I felt like I believe that I held myself back in a lot of things. Like, I held myself back because I'm very, very introverted. So it's like I was always nervous to like go out and do things by myself, until I was like, you know what? I don't necessarily need to go with anybody else to do anything. Like, I could just either take myself on dates, or I could just explore the city myself, or I could do this, or I can do that. It's like there's a lot of things that I can do on my own that I don't necessarily need to have people with in the beginning. But then I also know that I need to build myself up in a way to be able to make myself more comfortable with like networking, especially if you have business. You need to network. You need to talk to people. You can't be a hermit your entire life. So I'm training myself on just learning to like have just random and small conversations with people, so I can feel more comfortable networking when the time comes. You know.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Like building relationships and building our career.
Mm-hmm.
So, Computer and Coin, how do you create a better work-life balance? Because I mean, you're a content creator on more than one platform. You have a full-time career. You are committed to learning and improving yourself. You have a family life. So how are you balancing it all?
Yeah, it's a very delicate balance. It's very delicate. It sometimes can feel a little bit overwhelming, and that's why I love what True Mystique said about taking breaks, because sometimes it's just really needed. But I do a lot of yoga. I try to yoga every day, if not every day, a good 5 to 6 days a week, and meditate along with that because that helps my brain. My brain just has so much going through it. The yoga and meditation, along with like walking and other exercise, but definitely yoga and meditation just helps just calm my brain. It just does something to my brain. There's a yoga. Can I mention other content creators on here if they're positive and good?
Yeah,
Is that
absolutely,
okay?
absolutely.
There's a content creator by the name of Black Yogi Nico Marie, and she creates she's a yoga, she does yoga, but her whole channel and all of her yoga content is making yoga accessible to not only the Black community but people with different abilities. Like, so she does a lot of modifications and she talks you through. I love Nico Marie's channel. Like, it is because there were other yoga folks that I've been following because I've been doing yoga for a long time, but she's so inclusive of just different types of bodies, different types of levels, just different type of people. So I do a lot of that. I also spend time with the people I love and who love me, because that's not social media online people, parasocial relationships that know me for my content but don't really know me for who I truly am, and vice versa. So I spend a lot of time with my family and talking, having fun, and also being honest with myself. Like if I'm feeling overwhelmed or my family gives me information or what's going on, like being honest with myself and keeping that open communication with my family, but also my friends. Like, I have the same friend group that I've had since I was 18 years old, a freshman in college. So making sure I'm
Wow.
pouring into my girlfriends because they pour into me, because they're really important to me. Like, if YouTube, TikTok, all these social media platforms go away tomorrow, I still want to make sure I have those relationships with the people who really matter and important to me. So that helps me, like, all those things help me maintain balance, along with keeping track of everything and writing down what I have coming up and things like that.
I'm glad you said that because I just feel like there's too much talk in the space about who we should cut off. But the fact that you're talking about nurturing relationships, I'm so glad you brought that up.
Yeah, it's
But I
really
do,
important.
yeah. But I have a question for you, True Mystique, and that is, like, when you do take those social media breaks and you're taking that time to read, what types of books are you reading? I know you write yourself. What types of books are you reading, and what kind of authors would you recommend who you think might not get the shine they should, but they really good content?
Um, I read mostly like a lot of like self-help books. One of the first books that I read that kind of helped me and assist me in this like spiritual awakening thing that I had was Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza. Now I believe he's a psychologist, and but the way that he created the book, he basically intertwined like he intertwined mental wellness and mental illness to quantum physics. So I thought that it was pretty cool in the way in which he did that. Uh, I wish I could
Wow.
like remember yeah, like it was so interesting and intriguing, like the way he does that. And he has videos on YouTube like as well. Like if you don't want to necessarily read the book or you want to see like what he's about, like before you read the book, you could watch You could watch some of his YouTube channels. I'll type the name of him like in the back chat. And I also picked up a book from Dr. Gabor Mate. I forgot what country he's from. He's from Eastern Europe, but I saw him on a podcast with Dr. Mayim Balik from Big Bang Theory. And he was basically talking about, I guess he was talking about a lot of like the pressures like of society, and how a lot of the pressures in society compound and help to exacerbate a lot of like the mental illnesses that is plaguing society. And one of the things that he was talking about in his book, he said that women are basically like society's shock absorbers, like with the way that a society is set up, particularly like in the household. And he linked that to like the emotion. A lot of times, like women more so than men are holding on to a lot of emotional baggage, not just from themselves, but from their family, husband, and the outside world. And it's like they don't necessarily have an outlet to like kind of release that, so they hold on to it. And he saw that there was a link between that and women being more likely to contract autoimmune disorders because of like those emotional hindrances that women have. But because like society teaches us that emotions, that's more of a woman thing, and women alone should be handling that and not so much as men, it really does eat at you. And I was looking like, this really does make sense. And I'm like, I can kind of understand that even from a personal perspective. I'm not married and I don't have children, but I'm like, the amount of like emotional, let me just say in a way, like emotional, like eating of certain emotions and like feeling responsible for other people's emotions as I was a kid, and I had like no acceptable or suitable release, that definitely impacted me not just mentally but physically as well. And that particularly happened to me like in college, where it was around my senior year of college, and out of the blue I just didn't want to be in the field that I was anymore. So I was depressed because I was into doing criminology, but then I just wanted to be an artist and like a freelancer. And then so because what I was doing in school was not congruent with the lifestyle that I wanted to live, it completely like wreaked havoc on me. Like it came to a point where I started getting sicknesses and ailments and swelling and what's called psychosomatic illnesses, like that.
Wow.
That appeared to me, and it was just like out the blue. Like I had to go to the doctor, and they said, "Oh, you have tendonitis." I'm like, "How?" He's like, "I don't know." And then there was like this weird thing that happened. Like I had like this big old cyst that grew on my left wrist. To this day, I never knew where that came from. To this day, I can't even tell you. And I never got it again after that. But I know for a fact that a lot of that was because I was emotionally unwell. So I'm now looking hindsight 2020. I'm like, oh snap, this really he might have a point. Like this really does check out. So I like to read like a lot of books about self-help and self-betterment and like mental wellness, because I want to like tie it into my life and use these as tools to help me, like push forward through like whatever issues I have going on. So those are the books that I like to read.
Those are all good suggestions. And can you please make sure when this video posts that you put them in the comment section? So I'll make sure to pin it so people can find it. And Computer and Coin, what are some of the books that you like to read or that you would recommend to others who you feel like maybe books that don't get enough shine, but definitely are worthy of your time to read?
Yeah, I read a lot of self-help books as well. As True Mystique mentioned, there is this one book. Now, he does not definitely need my shine. He does it, but I haven't seen different types of content creators besides the ones who typically follow him talk about his book. But it's really interesting, and it shifted my perspective. Taught me some new lessons, reinforced some ones that I learned from my mom and my aunties. But it's more than just about money. He talks more than just about money. And the name of the book is called Thou Shalt Prosper. And it's by a rabbi. He's a Jewish rabbi. His name is Daniel Lapin. But the name of his book is called Thou Shalt Prosper, 10 Commandments for Making Money. And I just because I watch a lot of content on YouTube about, making money, different ways to like generate income, using all of your talents, like, so just different ways to make money. In addition to like your regular professional job. One of his videos just so randomly popped into my YouTube algorithm. And in that video, he was talking about money, but also like business and personal relationships and how women should date. And I was not raised in the Jewish faith at all. But the way he deliver his content in his videos, and then he had a book. I went and got his book. His book talks more about just working a job to make money or starting a business to make money. He talks about also make sure you're nurturing the relationships with yourself, with your family, with your business, whether you work for someone else or you own a business, being reciprocal, being honest and integrity. And it's just really interesting the way he takes like life lessons and things and all ties it back to how you can prosper and make money. And he talks about making money in a way that I just had not seen like in a book, of course, getting out of debt and things like that. But he also talks about it on a spiritual level, which is really interesting because I'm like, here's this rabbi. I wasn't raised in this faith, but the way he delivers and talks in this book, but also on his YouTube channel and other things like that, it just really intrigued me. I read the book last year and it's really good. So that was one book that just I read within the last year that just really shifted my perspective in different ways about how you make money and how it's like an energy exchange and things like that. Yep.
Wow, that's a good one. The book I'm reading now is The Awesome Human Project by Natalie Kagan. And it's basically a lot of it is like inner self work, like number one, forgiving yourself, encouraging yourself, like stopping like the negative self-talk dialogues, because I feel like sometimes our relationship with other people, we sometimes prioritize them over the relationship to ourselves. And I think being like a working mom, a working wife, and working mom, like sometimes the guilt and you just gotta kind of let that go. So I think like that's gonna be my next book club selection, because I just feel like we really need to change some of our internal dialogue before we start interacting with people. And I just think that book has been really helpful. Also, Dealing with Difficult People by Roy Lilly. Once you start moving up the ladder at work, you're gonna realize how many difficult people there are. And I'm telling you, like, challenges at work. And I shared that video of yours on my community tab, Computer and Coin, about like the definite difficulties with dealing with leadership at work. And so how do you deal with like interpersonal conflict and things that have helped you deal with it? I'll ask that question to each of you.
I deal with it first if something is happening like at work or like personally, but especially at work as a lead, because I know you're a leader at work as well, Mocha Mommy. I first talk to myself, like, is it me? Like, it really, like, am I perceiving this in a way that, not blaming myself, but before I just jump off the porch and run down a path of that may not lead to the best outcome, I really do try to have that internal conversation first to have an understanding, almost like a sense of like emotional intelligence before just reacting. That's first and foremost. I was like, before I, start going off and, going left, really trying to take time to like self-reflect first and look at it from different angles. If it's type of situation like with the someone that I'm supervising, or maybe a leader that's lateral to me, or maybe a leader that's above me, I always make sure I understand the situation and like what they're asking or what they're saying to me, and try to have an understanding for what they are communicating to me. Are they, are we having discontent because there's something there was an expectation that I or my team or the projects that I'm working on did not deliver in a way that they expect. Like really trying to have that understanding and keeping that line of communication open. So first self-reflecting, two, understanding like what that person, that leader, co-worker, etc., is asking for. If it's going down a path of where, you may have to do something discipline or, disciplinary or if it needs to be escalated, ensuring that I'm documenting, always documenting, whether
Always,
it's
right.
Yep.
always documenting, have like the receipts. I always want the facts, and the facts and having those receipts really do help when you're trying to separate facts from feelings and dealing with things, because sometimes things can get emotional when you're dealing with conflict at work or even interpersonally. Making sure I'm focusing on not just the feelings, because people's feelings are valid, but also focusing on the facts and then doing what I can, making sure I'm doing my responsibility to get to a resolution that is amenable to both parties.
Right. And how do you resolve conflict, True Mystique? Because I know like conflict resolution, you definitely have like a spiritual aspect when you talk about conflict on your channel, but
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about some of the conflict resolution techniques that you've used.
Ooh, first of all, I want to say thank God for restoration and reformation, because I was not always as level-headed and calm as I tried to be today. So because of that, and because I'm very self-aware, like Computer and Coin said, like I have to take a second, breathe, and think about it. Like, okay, is this person really saying what I think they saying? Is this person really trying to like question me or question my intelligence? Is it a personal thing, or is it just something like they got going on within themselves? So like when I sit back and like really, you have to take a second and understand, number one, the type of person you are, how you have the ability to react, and see if that way is really appropriate to react in that manner. Now, seeing that I can't react in the way that I would want to react, I'm like, okay, um I'll try to reason with people. Like that's something that my eldest brother, like he really instilled in me. Like whenever like my brothers and I we would fight and things of the sort, I would talk to him and he's like, okay, so now you know this person is this, that, and the third. So knowing this, what do you think is like the best way that you can like you can try to find some common ground, or what is the way that you think that you can work the situation to ensure either it doesn't happen again, or if it does happen, to try to mitigate the amount of emotional reaction there is. So I really just sometimes I just have to take a minute. If I have to walk, if it's super explosive or if it's super heightened emotionally, I'm like, okay, let me just take a minute, walk, clear my head, calm down so I don't snap on this person, come back and talk to a person civilly. I normally I the what I really want to do is I try my best to talk to a person civilly, try to see, okay, maybe if there is a misunderstanding, maybe okay, is there a different way that we can work this? Because I did have a situation like this in at work. It was a supervisor. She wasn't my direct supervisor, but she was a supervisor nonetheless, and she was, I guess she tried to call herself trying to tell me to do something that my supervisor didn't tell me to do. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm like, and nobody told me that I was to report to her until after the fact. He's like, oh, well, this person is a supervisor. I'm like, y'all didn't tell me this was my supervisor. I'm like, okay. So I was like, I apologize. And if I'm in the wrong, I know that, okay, if I know that I'm in the wrong, I will apologize. I'll apologize for my stance. I will apologize for the way that I conveyed myself, but still trying to get across the principle of the matter, because I'm a person that's pretty much about principles, and I'm a very strict on principles. But mm, I, if I can, I know I kind of sound like I'm going a little bit all over the place. If I can, I try to avoid situations as much as possible from happening, whether it's I try to communicate everything that I need to beforehand so that misunderstandings don't happen. But I know that life sometimes, so misunderstandings do. And if it's not a serious misunderstanding, I would just rather like to talk like adults, try to get some common ground. But if it's a way that a person is coming at me in a disrespectful manner, I do have to check myself because I know how I can get. And I try to, again, try to extend courtesy and try to extend respect in the way that I would want to. Usually that works. If it doesn't, and it's not something that I can do directly, if there's somebody that's above me, I'll just let them handle it. That's something that I still have to work on. But like I said, because I know who I am and I know how I can get, I definitely have to look within myself to like check myself constantly.
Right. I think self-awareness, that's a huge part of conflict resolution. Type of people who are looking to resolve conflict or just looking to win,
Mm-hmm.
or are we communicating out of like, are we communicating from the most mature place? So I'm really grateful you said that. But
Yeah.
computer and coin, now we're talking about like, self-awareness and things. What are some of the things that you would, what's some of the advice that you would give your younger self?
I'll definitely tell my younger self I'm enough. I'm not too much. What I like the things that I like to do, and how I think, and it's okay. Like everyone doesn't have to follow a certain path or live their lives in ways that people think that you should, like people outside of your family, your friends, and things like that. That's the biggest thing. Um, Sometimes when you're younger, you're so influenced by what you see on television or others, etc. It can override what you know on the inside is best for yourself. And I would definitely tell my younger self to listen to yourself more, because that's you talking to you, and you know yourself, and you know what's best for you is what's going to make you the happiest, is doing and living the way that you want to.
That's that's a good one because I think sometimes other people's expectations of us. Yeah, that's a real good one.
Yeah,
True
for
Mystique,
sure.
what do you think? What would you tell your younger self?
Um, I would tell my younger self, be unapologetically yourself. You are different. You're different for a reason. It doesn't matter if people don't understand you. People don't need to understand you. You don't have to go throughout life trying to seek the acceptance or the approval of people who don't understand you. You're special, and the people who you are meant to impact will understand you. And everyone else who either sees you as like black sheep or think or like to overlook you, it doesn't matter. You know, that can be your secret weapon so that you can be undetectable. I don't want to say undetectable, but you can use your reserved nature for your power. That way, when you come up and when you glow up and grow up and you do the thing, people will have no choice but to respect you. People will have no choice but to give you your flowers. I will also like to tell myself that it gets better, and you need to learn how to create the happiness that you want. Nobody
Ooh.
if you yeah, because I spent a lot of time like being miserable and being mad at the world because things worked out in an unfavorable manner. My family was messed up, this, that, and the third. And I spent a lot of time like being depressed. And until I had to come to the point where it's like, yeah, nobody is going to help you out of this situation. And if you want to be happy, you have to create that for yourself. You being depressed and stuck in this mode, it's not helping you. Is this creating the life that you want? And if it's not, you're going to have to do something to fix it. And you are going to have to pioneer that change and pioneer and cultivate that happiness within yourself. And don't let anybody tell you no, because their opinions don't matter. What they think about you doesn't matter. As long as you know who you are and you are confident in who you are confident in your abilities, you can do whatever it is that you set your mind to.
Agreed. And if you need to go back and have a reset, that's okay too.
Lord
Yeah.
knows I had several resets and high points and low points and high points. I'm still in it, and I'm almost 28. I'm like, it's fine. It happens. It's seasons, and life just be lifing, and you just going to have to roll with it and just bounce back up.
I like that. Life be life. I like
It
that.
does. It does, man.
Okay. So before we conclude, ladies, I just want to ask each of you, like now looking back on being content creators, looking back on being women who are career women and aspiring business owners or running your own businesses, what are some of the things that we can expect from you in the future? And what are some of the ways that you may have to pivot? So I'll start with you, Computer and Coin.
So I would say definitely more of what I've been doing. Although I know there's some of my content doesn't get as many views as others. I feel that it's good content, and what True Mystique was talking about with evergreen content, that inspires me to continue doing that. Maybe pivoting in a little bit so I can get pivoting in a way that makes it more engaging. Keeping it positive and encouraging and uplifting, and in a way that helps people versus like tearing someone down or intentionally making someone feel bad or negative, things like that. Staying away from that, and keeping that off of my algorithm as well. For anyone thinking about starting, I would say I really wish I would have started sooner. Even with the amount of viewers that my channel, subscribers that my channel has, or the number of views some of my videos have, I have received and continue to receive legitimate opportunities on the side for like technical consulting, for academic institutions. Like several academic institutions have reached out to me, and I have done consulting both on, and I'm a nurse that works in tech. That's my everyday job. But I have been able over the last year and a half to also have side opportunities with two different academic institutions and also a technical company to do technical consulting. And I got those opportunities because of my YouTube channel. And so I say that, if you have a YouTube channel, even if it only has like, 100 subscribers or 300 subscribers, or you do a video and only gets 50 views or 100 views, you would be so, I know I'm still surprised. You would be so surprised about the opportunities that may come to you by sharing your professional knowledge and doing it in a way that is positive and encouraging, and like really like coming from a place of trying to help and inform. So I say that to say, if you're having any doubts, please be encouraged. And, you can do it in a way, if you don't want to, show your face or share too much, it can be done in a way, but can be done in a way that can truly help yourself, or if you have a family, help your family in positive ways. But that's what I look forward to doing more with my channel.
Amen to that. Like just saying, like us small YouTube channels, like what we've learned from, I'm serious, like the opportunities that have come to me, like on this channel, and then also my hobbyist YouTube channel. Like you said, a small amount of subscribers, but the proliferation is big. Like opportunities for like affiliate marketing, opportunities for consult. Like it really is. It's out there. Like to be in focus groups, it's out there. So if you ladies have a talent, start putting it on YouTube. Start self-marketing.
Yes. And you really can't help. You're not only helping yourself, by, making money and, doing the things that you want to do that will help your family or your finances, but you're also helping other people. And that is, that really, so it's not only you're enriching yourself, you're also enriching others. So I want people to be like encouraged about that. Yeah.
The main goal, how I see things is that the main goal should be to inspire people and to help people and give people value first, and then all the
Yes.
monetary things, and then all the extra stuff, that extra benefits that
Yes,
you receive come afterward.
it does. That is true. That is so true. Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Like I feel like there's so many people who want to learn, who want to be better, who want to move forward, and they're just looking for that positive space. And yeah, and it's just like again, like how many times you'll get an email or a testimonial saying like, "Hey, you really helped me," or "I feel encouraged to do this now," or "I'm putting my artwork out there, I'm putting my crafting out there, I'm putting my writing out there, I'm putting my home decor out there." You know, like the fact that you can help somebody else reach their dream too. I mean, that's the most encouraging part of YouTube. But yeah, ladies, I'm just letting you ladies know that, you know, there's a lot of opportunity out here, and please don't get caught up in the negative when there's so many great things out there. And these two ladies are amazing content creators who whose channels have like positive impacts, and whose channels have great information that could really help you level up. You know, economic content, spiritual content, artistic content. And I'm just telling you, ladies, like on this, you know, Sunday, and I know like this is like a self-care day for a lot of people, just having a more positive algorithm when you do pick up that phone and scroll is going to really just impact you. So before we close, ladies, do you have a message out there to the audience that you would like to encourage them to do moving forward?
I would say if you come across a channel like Boca Mommy, True Mystique, Black women making money, other women's channels, or people's channels that really help you, share it with other people. Say, hey, I came across Black Yogi Nico Marie channel, and her channel is so inclusive and help that you sharing your knowledge, even if you don't want to start a YouTube channel, you just want to consume and take it. If you found or come across something that changed your way, even if it's in a small way, share it. And even if you share it with just one other person, you're helping that content creator, and you're also helping like your friend or whomever you're sharing it with. So I definitely would say definitely keep sharing that pot, because it changes. Of course, it's going to change your algorithm, but you're just spreading more of what is good here digitally.
Yeah, I agree. Like True Mystique, you are helping my daughter with her homework. Please follow
that
like
that was shocking. I'm like, I'm really thankful for that, and I definitely do agree with Computer and Coin. Like, we want to spread positivity. A lot of people like to focus on negativity, like, oh, why is the world so messed up? Why is the world so this, the world so that? I say this: if there's a lot of negativity and a lot of evil in the world, that means that there's the same amount of good in the world. And we just have to prime ourselves to focus on the good and focus on being the good and being good people, so that hopefully it can start to drown out and it could start to like overlook the negativity. And also, I just want to say, for everybody here and everybody listening, just believe in yourself. Like, that is the fundamental thing, because there are so many forces, so many entities that always want to tell us, especially as Black women, like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do this, you're not this, you're not that, you don't look like this, so you don't deserve this. And don't let anybody tell you what you do and do not deserve. That is something that only you can give to yourself. That is something that you can only define for yourself. But that all has to start with belief. You have to believe that you can. You have to believe that you are deserving of good things. You have to believe that you can get out of a precarious situation. Starts with belief, and then the mindset. It's the most important thing before you can do anything else, is you have to prime your mind to want to accept these things, to want to look out for good opportunities, to want to seek good people, because there are good people in the world. They do exist. So we just have to start to train our brains to seek these things. And that also starts from the belief in self. without that, nothing else can manifest. So that's all I want to say.
Yeah. And thank you, Metaphysical Mike, for the super chat. But I just want to say thank you, ladies, both, for just adding so much content that has just helped so much of us out here, and just helped me personally. And I just want to thank you both for creating such really great content out here. And it's just started really good conversations, like in my household, in my workplace, the spiritual and the intellectual content, and just bringing a smile to my face, with your TikTok, Computer and Coin, just making me laugh and smile during the day. So thank you both so much for all that you bring and for sharing your lives with us and your experiences with us on these platforms. So I just want to thank you both so much. And I look forward to all the content you ladies do come out with, because it's been so helpful thus far. So thank you for attending my live stream, and thank you for all the positive comments and feedback. These ladies, I will make it a point that when this video posts, to leave links to their channels, because they give out a lot of great information that I think could really help us all in so many aspects of our lives. So thank you all, and have a good afternoon.